Do not fear deceit, intrigue, or the traps that people might set for you. If someone schemes against you, know that God is also setting a trap for them. Those who dig a pit for you will fall into it themselves. This world is built on the law of reciprocation. Not a drop of good goes unrewarded, and not a drop of harm goes unnoticed. Not even a leaf stirs without his knowledge. Just believe in this. Shams of Tabriz. Every journey begins with a single truth, my friend. Nothing unfolds outside the gaze of the one who holds the cosmos in his palm. The world may shake, people may scheme, shadows may stretch across your path, but the divine sees deeper than any plot and responds with a wisdom that shatters every illusion. When Shams said these words, he was not offering comfort to the fearful. He was offering sovereignty to the awakened heart. The reminder that your life is not in the hands of those who plan against you, but in the hands of the one who planned your existence before time began. Fear rises in the mind like smoke, blurring your vision, making you feel smaller than you are. But you were never small. As Rumi said, "Brother, you are thought itself. The rest is just flesh and bones. Think of the rose, you become a rose garden. Think of the thorn, and you become a field of thorns. What you dwell on shapes the landscape of your being. The world outside may mislead you, accuse you, misunderstand you, but the world inside, if polished, becomes a mirror reflecting the infinite." This path of Sufism is not a path where you merely survive the traps of others. It is a path where you transcend them, where you learn that a trap laid for you is not your burden, it is the trapper's destiny. And the moment you understand this, you stop wasting your breath on fear. You stop giving energy to shadows that have no substance. Shams knew this intimately. He walked through towns where he was misunderstood, criticized, even hunted by minds too narrow to hold his fire. Yet he never trembled, because he knew deceit is a flame that burns only the hand that lights it. Harm is a boomerang that circles back to the thrower, and trust in God is a shield that no blade can pierce. The universe is structured in a way that every intention returns home. The good you breathe into existence finds you again, even if the world tries to hide its arrival. The harm whispered against you wraps itself around the neck of the one who whispered it. Not because God is vengeful, but because God is just, and the system of existence is woven from his justice. In the Mesnevi, Rumi tells the story of the man who accused another unjustly and dug a hidden pit for him in the night. But when morning came, he fell into the very hole he had prepared. Rumi writes that this is not merely a tale, it is the architecture of life. What you prepare for another becomes the home you eventually step into. That is why the saints walked the earth with light feet, harming none and fearing none. They knew that destiny flows according to the mold of your intention. My friend, listen closely. The traps others set for you are not your responsibility. Your responsibility is your heart, the clarity of your intention, the purity of your action, the sincerity of your worship. Because, as Ibn Arabi said, if you perform a righteous act, continue it. Whether small or great, do not abandon it. Once you cut it off, you cut the rope between you and God. Persist in your good deeds until death reaches you, and never return to the faults you left behind. He taught that every breath is a connection, a meeting point between you and the divine. If you stay in that connection, no scheme can detach you from his protection. Here lies the deeper secret. Fear of deceit is the child of ego. just as pride is its father and insecurity its mother. When your heart sees the world through the window of the ego, everything seems like a threat. But when the heart becomes a polished mirror, the threats dissolve, for you realize that everything comes from the beloved, even the things that seem like they come from your enemies. There is a subtle beauty in this understanding. When someone harms you, they have not harmed your soul, they have only exposed their own. When someone deceives you, they have not diminished your worth, they have revealed their distance from truth. And when someone plots against you, they have not taken control of your destiny, they have tied a rope around their own. Remember what Hassan al-Basri said, "Backbiting is more harmful to the faith of a believer than a gangrenous wound is to the body." Those who speak ill of others, plot against them, or poison the air with deceit are not harming you, they are wounding themselves. They rot their own faith before they touch yours.
So, Shams tells you, do not fear. Fear is a shadow without substance. Trust is a sun that dissolves every shadow it touches. In this world, the unseen is always stronger than the seen. What is whispered in heaven determines what appears on earth. What is written on your soul echoes louder than the words spoken about you. But here is the deeper teaching, the one that Shams lived and Rumi embodied. Love is the only force that cannot be trapped. Love slips through every scheme, rises above every insult, and turns every plot into a stepping stone. In the realm of love, the traps laid for you become ladders. The harm intended for you becomes purification, and the schemes meant to break you become the wind that lifts you higher. Shams said, "Many of the conflicts, prejudices, and hostilities in this world are born from the tongue. You, my friend, do not cling too tightly to words. In the land of love, language loses its authority. The lover becomes speechless." And he meant this. Those who talk too much about others harm themselves. Those who gossip, plot, or deceive imprison themselves in their own words. But the one who loves, who burns with sincerity, outgrows the need for defense. This is why Haji Bektash Veli taught, guard your hand, your waist, and your tongue. Because true spiritual strength lies not in defeating your enemies, but in defeating the part of you that wants to become like them. When you restrain your hand from harm, you rise. When you restrain your passions from excess, you rise. When you restrain your tongue from gossip, you rise. Every act of restraint is an act of liberation, and every act of harm is a chain fastened to your own feet. You may wonder, but what if their trap actually hurts me? My friend, understand this. Pain is not loss. Pain is instruction. Pain is polish. Pain is the divine chisel sculpting your inner being. But humiliation, deceit, injustice, these never reach your soul unless you swallow them with your ego. The saints were insulted, beaten, rejected, but their souls remained untouched because they did not build their identities on the opinions of others. This is why Ibn Arabi said, "Take a cup of water from the sea, and that is you. Now return it to the ocean and try to find yourself. Your true self dissolves into the divine. Once you realize this, no scheme can find you, for you are the sea, not the cup." Every injustice you face becomes a tide returning to its source, and every good intention you offer returns as a wave of light. Remember this law, my friend. The world is a mirror. What you give returns. What you hide appears. What you intend becomes your path. But you are not walking this path alone. You walk with the fire of Shams. You walk with the love of Rumi. You walk with the wisdom of Ibn Arabi. You walk with the purity of Haji Bektash. You walk with the sincerity of every seeker who ever lifted their hands and whispered, "Oh my God, make me yours."
And every one of them faced deceit. Every one of them faced misunderstanding. Every one of them faced traps. Yet, none of them feared. Because their eyes were not on the trap, they were on the one who allows the trap to exist. That is the spiritual maturity Shams offers you today. The soul grows not when life is easy, but when life reveals its hidden teachers. And often, the greatest teachers come disguised as the very people who try to harm you. They sharpen your clarity. They strengthen your patience. They awaken your trust. This is why the friends of God never run from difficulty. They read it like scripture. Every event becomes a verse. Every hardship becomes a chapter. Every wound becomes a doorway. You see, my friend, deceit in this world is like a storm. It howls, it shakes, it threatens to uproot your peace. But what happens after every storm? The air becomes clearer. The sky opens. Something old is washed away. In the same way, when someone plots against you, something heavy inside you breaks open and falls away. You become lighter. You become more aware. You become more surrendered. And in that surrender, you taste a deeper truth. God was never distant. He was guiding every gust of wind. But you must hold fast to the teachings of those who walked before you. Haji Bektash Veli said, "If you are hurt, do not hurt back." This is not a command for weakness. It is a command for sovereignty. When you respond to harm with harm, you descend to the level of the one who harmed you. But when you rise above it, you join the company of the lovers. You preserve your light. You protect your heart from darkening. This is why the saints often remained silent before the insults of the world, not because they were powerless, but because they refused to empower the ego of the one who insulted them. Silence is not defeat. Silence is mastery. Silence is the language of those who speak to God more than they speak to people. The world will call you many names. They called Rumi a madman. They called Shams a sorcerer. They called Hallaj a heretic. They called Ibn Arabi a troublemaker. They called Yunus Emre a simpleton. But history revealed the truth, and the truth protected every one of them. The traps laid for them became lanterns that illuminated the hearts of future generations. Because what is laid for harm becomes a seed for greatness in the garden of God.
But to understand this law, you must understand another law. Every lie spoken about you reveals something beautiful about you. It reveals that you are becoming visible. People do not attack those who walk in darkness. They attack those who carry light. Have you ever seen someone throw stones at a lamp that is not shining? No, they throw stones at the lamp that threatens to illuminate their concealed intentions. This is why the Sufis always said, if someone slanders you, thank God, because he is polishing your soul through their words. If someone plots against you, thank God, because he is tearing another veil from your heart. If someone tries to harm you, thank God, because he is training you for a station you cannot yet imagine. You may not see the wisdom now, but wisdom sees you, and the universe responds to your inner state. If you allow fear to live inside you, the world will find ways to feed it. If you allow trust to live inside you, the world will find ways to confirm it. If you root yourself in love, every path becomes a garden. Do you remember Rumi's words? Brother, you are thought itself. This means that your inner world is not simply a reflection of your outer world. Your outer world is shaped by your inner world. If you expect betrayal everywhere, you will notice it everywhere. If you expect mercy everywhere, you will meet it in places you never imagined. Your thoughts are seeds, and the heart is the soil in which they grow. Think roses, you become a rose garden. Think thorns, and your path becomes a field of pain. This is why Shams said that most conflict arises from the tongue. The tongue is a sword, a whip, a fire, and most people do not know how to use it. But you, my friend, are walking the path of the heart. And on this path, the tongue must be purified, the heart must be softened, the mind must be emptied. Because without purification, even truth becomes poison. Look at the world today. Most wars begin with a sentence. Most divisions begin with a word. Most heartbreaks begin with a careless tongue. But in the land of love, words lose their power. The true lover becomes speechless before the beloved, not because they have nothing to say, but because they have discovered a realm beyond speaking, a realm where presence is the only language, a realm where silence becomes prayer. So when someone harms you with their words, do not respond quickly. Respond inwardly. Ask, what is God trying to show me? Where is the lesson? Where is the doorway hidden inside this moment? You are not meant to walk this world reacting. You are meant to walk this world awakening.
You must remember another teaching from Ibn Arabi. Every breath is a connection with God. Imagine that. Every breath. Not every prayer, not every ritual, every breath. When you breathe, God is closer to you than the breath itself. So how can a trap harm you when God surrounds you from every side? How can a scheme succeed when God holds your future in His hands? How can deceit overpower you when your soul is rooted in the eternal? The only danger you truly face is forgetting this truth. Forgetfulness is the real trap. Forgetfulness is the real enemy. Not the people who gossip, not the ones who scheme, not those who insult you. These are temporary waves. But forgetfulness? Forgetfulness is the storm that uproots the tree of the heart. This is why the Sufis called remembrance the rope thrown from heaven. Remembrance keeps you connected. Remembrance keeps you humble. Remembrance keeps you awake. And when you are awake, you see the traps of this world not as threats, but as illusions. There is a story in the Misnevi where a traveler sees a snake chasing him on the road. He runs terrified until he collapses at the feet of a saint. The saint looks behind him and laughs gently, saying, "My son, that is not a snake. That is a rope." The man had been running from something that could never harm him. The danger existed only in his mind. Most of what you fear is a rope mistaken for a snake. Most of the traps you worry about are shadows mistaken for enemies. Most of the harm you anticipate never occurs because God never wrote it for you. This is why trusting God is not naive, it is intelligent. It aligns you with the architecture of destiny. It places you inside the flow of divine protection. It lifts the weight of the world from your shoulders and places it where it belongs, at the feet of the one who already knows every step you will take. But trust is not passive. Trust is not laziness. Trust is action rooted in faith. You must live with integrity. You must remain honest. You must guard your tongue. You must protect your intentions. You must repair your mistakes. Because as Haji Bektash Veli said, the ignorant man defends himself in every sentence, while the wise man questions himself in every sentence. Do not justify yourself with words. Justify yourself with your character. The wise seeker does not ask, "What are they doing to me?" but rather, "What is God polishing within me through this event?"
This is the difference between awakening and sleep. The sleeping person argues. The awakened person reflects. The sleeping person judges. The awakened person purifies. The sleeping person fears. The awakened person trusts. And you, my friend, are awakening. Every hardship you face is a teacher in disguise. Every enemy is a mirror showing you a part of yourself that still needs softening. Every deceit is an invitation to step deeper into divine reliance. Every plot is a doorway to a higher station. Life is not happening to you, it is happening for you. It is sculpting you, it is preparing you, it is refining you. And when you understand this, something extraordinary happens. You stop taking things personally. You stop resenting others. You stop fearing what they might do. Instead, you begin to see the hidden choreography of destiny. You begin to see that even the person who harms you is a tool in the hand of God, shaping you with precision. Do not fear those who dig pits. They dig for themselves. Do not fear those who set traps. They tie them around their own ankles. Do not fear those who speak against you. They poison only their own hearts. Fear only losing your connection with the one who protects you. So breathe deeply, my friend. Feel the ocean of the divine beneath your feet. You are not a drop separated from the sea. You are a drop returning to the sea. Once you dissolve, no one can harm you. Once you surrender, no one can trap you. Once you trust, no one can shake you. If you take anything from the words of Shams, take this. The world cannot harm you unless you grant it permission. But God can elevate you without asking anyone. So walk this world with dignity, walk with courage, walk with trust, walk with humility, walk with patience, and above all, walk with love. For love is the only force that turns every trap into a stepping stone, every wound into wisdom, and every hardship into closeness with the beloved. My friend, if these words awaken something in your heart, leave a comment below. Share your thoughts, your reflections, your journey. And if this path nourishes your soul, subscribe to the channel, because you are not alone on this journey. And in the comments, write this sentence: I walk with trust, not fear, so that your heart may testify to the station you are stepping into.